and welcome back to my channel. This is Marla and I am so glad that you're joining me today for a new Scrappy Tail craft video. Today's card features the Layering RV, which is part of the Life is an Adventure release. Here is a look at that amazing die set. You can see all of the detail that's included in this set. I have a piece of craft cardstock, some cream, and some powder blue. I wanted to go with some softer colors. I wanted to include a blue just because this card could possibly go to my husband for an anniversary card. This comes with a base layer, and I always talk about this when I'm creating with the Scrappy Tail craft dies. There are a lot of details that are included and etched into these die cut pieces. There is no guesswork when you're trying to put this trailer together because of the details that Sabrina added to each of the die cut pieces. You know exactly where your die cuts belong. So I started with a cream base. I added the top layer in blue. You certainly could do the reverse and add the blue as the base and the cream at the top. The trim pieces, for the most part, I'm adding this craft cardstock. So there's two little strips that go in between the layers. Again, this is detail, and that's detail at its finest. It really does come together quite easily, and it really is a very powerful die because of the details that have been included in this set. For the wheel well, I'm going with blue. I'm also going to add blue to the doors of the bottom of the trailer. For my wheel, I chose to go with black. I did want to talk a little bit about this wheel here. There is a hubcap that is available to add on top. I happen to like a black hubcap with a black tire, and so I didn't feel the need to add that additional piece, although it would have added a touch of dimension to this. But you could go with a silver or maybe a cream colored hubcap. That option is available. I'm just not showing it in my trailer today. For the back of the trailer, there is a brake. I didn't want to add red for that brake light, and so I took and die cut it out and glued it on immediately. Because it is such a small piece, I wanted to make sure that I didn't lose that piece. There is also a door handle that can be die cut. It's very tiny. I would recommend, if you want that handle to stand out, that maybe you would use a micron pen or a Copic marker just to color in the little circle if you wanted to do that. I left mine blank today. This is the air conditioning unit. I wanted to add that cream back over the top, and then I'm going to accent it with a little bit of that craft cardstock. We're going to start adding the doors to the trailer, and then I did use the craft cardstock for the window trim. And I think that these three colors are really complementary to each other. We're moving into a new season. The vibrant colors of summer are behind us. But again, this is something that can be used year round. It's not something that is just a summer related die. I think that if you especially live in the South, that camping is something that you can do year round. For the hitch, I did go with a black, again adding just a little bit of contrast. If you went with the silver hubcaps, silver would have looked nice as well. I did want to take a minute to speak on the new release from Scrappy Tail Crafts. There is a Halloween release that is days away. If you're not familiar with the Instagram account for Scrappy Tail Crafts, I will link it in the description box below. In that Instagram, or on that Instagram account, Sabrina is sharing stories and peeks of the new release. So if you are a Halloween lover, I would highly recommend that you head over and just take a look at some some of her sneak peeks. And in a couple of days, you can head over to the store, which will be linked in the description box below, along with the additional links to these products that I've used today, so that you can check out her brand new release. I believe that there's going to be a hop maybe next week, and so we have some amazing designers that are going to be creating some fun Halloween cards for inspiration. Moving on to the card, I do have a top folding craft card base. I used a die from my stash. I wanted to add a little bit of texture and detail to the background. So I added this, or I cut out this background panel. It's cut to 4 by 5¼ inches. There are stars that are cut out of the center, so I'm going to have a 1/4 inch reveal all the way around of the craft cardstock, and then again I'm going to have it peeking through those stars, adding a little bit more contrast, a little bit more detail to the card. I cut a couple of strips of cardstock from the powder blue and the craft. They are 1 inch by 5¼ inches, and I'm going to use those as accent pieces to the left side of the panel. I could have put the two pieces together, but I decided to separate them. Again, just adding a little bit more interest to the background, and then we're going to start building our card. The sentiment comes, I think I may have mentioned, from the hiking gear die set. Again, that is part of the Adventure Awaits release, and the sentiment is going to say, life with you is an adventure. I cut the shadow layer out of cream cardstock and the sentiment out of the powder blue cardstock. Here I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to place all of my pieces, making sure that I kind of have an even distribution. So between the bottom and the word adventure and the top, life with you is in. I just want to balance that out. Once I do that, I did cut a second shadow piece for each of the sentiments that I'm going to add to the back, just to add a little bit more dimension to my sentiment, allowing it to stand out from the card base a little bit more. And once I get these glued together, I'm going to adhere my sentiment first. I'll make sure that I have them placed where I want them, and then I'm going to add the trailer. I do use a black foam tape. This is an older foam tape that I've had for a while. It's super thick, a lot thicker than some of the other dimensional tape that I use, but I really wanted that trailer to stand out a little bit more, and so I went ahead, instead of using a thinner adhesive or foam tape, I went ahead and just added this really thick one, and I really like the dimension. So I added it to the back of the trailer and to the wheel well. Because the hitch and the step is a little bit thin, I didn't want to bother adding the foam tape to those areas, trying to cut little tiny strips. I was fine with that just kind of sitting up top. And here we go. I'm going to use my wet glue to add the sentiments, making sure that I have a little bit of wiggle room when I add the sentiment, because of course I never get anything straight. And then I'll move on to the top sentiment, and finally we'll remove the adhesive backing to the foam tape, and I'll adhere the trailer, and that is going to complete my card for today. Again, I will have all of the products that I used, or both of the products that I used from Scrappy Tail Crafts, in the description box below. When you use my links, I do get a little bit of a commission. That is at no cost to you, so I am always grateful when you guys click those links and you purchase from the Scrappy Tail Crafts store. It just helps me to continue to run my channel and bring you new product. So if you have any questions, please leave it in the comment box. Otherwise, I'm going to leave you with a close-up of the card. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day. Thanks so much for joining me.